There was a woman, lost in the valley of trials. Every day she felt overwhelmed by the storms of life. The struggles were endless, and peace seemed a distant illusion. His prayers, despite their sincerity, often seemed to go in circles. She wondered, why do my calls to Allah go unanswered? Yet her faith did not fade, even if she struggled to see the light in the darkness. Then came the month of Ramadan, the month of clarity, forgiveness, and infinite blessings. This month, where the doors of heaven are wide open, where the hearts of believers are purified, where every moment is a chance to get closer to one's Creator. One evening, while she was alone in her prayer corner, enveloped by the soft glow of the candles, something happened. It was as if the silence of the night whispered to her soul a message that she had long ignored. She remembered a word from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, that she had heard so many times. He who fasts the month of Ramadan with faith and hope of reward will have his sins forgiven. Sahih Bukhari. But this time, these words resonated deeply in his heart. Like a lightning bolt cutting through the darkness of her mind, she understood that Ramadan was not just a month of deprivation of food and water. It was a month where faith was purified, where the closeness of Allah was felt in every breath, every prayer. She then understood that the key to change lay in her intention and sincere devotion. With this new understanding, she prostrated herself before her Lord, placing her forehead on the ground, and with a deep breath she murmured this invocation, "O Allah, help me to live this month with purity of heart. I place my trust in you." These words did not come only from his lips, but from within his being, from the depths of his soul. It was a plea born of pain, of hope, and of the conviction that only divine mercy could guide her in her moments of uncertainty. The days passed, one by one, 7 days. She lived them with renewed commitment. Every day of this Ramadan seemed to be an opportunity to reconnect a little more with Allah. His prayers became more intense, his du'as more sincere. In these moments of solitude, his heart felt warmed by the light of faith. The 7 days passed without her really realizing it, but what she noticed was that something had changed inside her. She had a feeling of peace that she had never felt before. Her thoughts became clearer, and she perceived blessings which manifested themselves in various forms. An unexpected encounter, a problem which was miraculously resolved, an inner peace which softened her trials. She then remembered the promise of Allah, this promise of a divine response to every sincere invocation. "And your Lord said, 'Call upon me, and I will hear you.'" Quran 40:60. The 7 days that she had spent in a sincere quest for closeness to Allah were not simply days of fasting and prayer. No, those days were much more than that. They were a path of spiritual transformation, a journey toward purification of the heart, toward connection with the source of all light, toward the understanding that divine mercy is infinite. She didn't ask for her life to become easy. She hadn't expected the challenges to disappear immediately, but she felt a change in her heart, a certainty that, no matter the difficulties, Allah was with her, that each trial would be an opportunity to deepen one's faith, to get closer to one's Lord. And so, after 7 days, she was surprised to see how her world, her perception of life, had changed. His trust in Allah was stronger than ever. She had opened her heart to divine mercy, and, as if by a miracle, it poured out on her. She now understood that Ramadan was more than a month of deprivation. It was a month where each act, each prayer, each moment of devotion could be a step towards a profound transformation. She knew now, deep in her soul, that when one sincerely turns to Allah, He responds. And His response, sometimes gentle and subtle, sometimes striking and obvious, is always what we really need to move forward on the path of faith and inner peace. But why does this blessed month transform so many lives? What happens during Ramadan that we don't see immediately, but that changes something deep in our soul?
Ramadan seems to be a simple act of fasting, but in reality it contains a hidden,
almost elusive spiritual power. Each day of this holy month is not simply a test of patience in the face of hunger or thirst, but a profound process of purification. An inner journey where we seek to elevate our soul, to detach ourselves from worldly distractions, to get closer to Allah. But why do we have to go through this purification? Why must we feel this hunger that tears our body apart, this thirst that awakens our senses? Why should we deprive ourselves of the pleasures and comforts of this world? Allah says in the Quran, "Fasting is prescribed for you as it was for those before you. Perhaps you will fear Allah." Quran 2:183. Here, the key to the answer lies in this quest for piety, the reverential fear of God. By depriving ourselves of bodily pleasures for a month, we become more aware of our own dependence on Allah. Hunger, thirst, and material deprivation become constant reminders of the fragility of our existence and the importance of humility before our Creator. By willingly letting go of these basic needs, we rediscover the beauty of simplicity and the importance of being nourished by something greater than just physical nourishment. But this process is not a punishment. It is not a form of gratuitous suffering. On the contrary, it is a way of opening our hearts to a deeper spiritual reality. Fasting becomes an act of worship, a path towards purification of the heart, like clear water that cleanses the impurities of our soul. In every prayer, in every moment of fasting, we have the opportunity to let go of everything that weighs us down, our negative thoughts, our excessive desires, and our superficial concerns. But deep down, the question remains, why does this month have this miraculous power to change lives? Ramadan allows us to do a spiritual reset, a cleansing of our inner being, far from the distractions of daily life, far from the noise of the world. We finally have the chance to listen to the voice of our heart, to reconnect with our essence. It is a month where we can resurface, like a ship that gets rid of its burdens to better sail towards inner peace. But are you ready to seize this opportunity? Are you ready to take on this spiritual challenge with an open heart and uncompromising faith? Because it is there, in the sincere commitment to worship Allah, that profound transformation is found. The real question is, are you ready to live this Ramadan fully? To see it not as a simple obligation, but as a divine chance to change, heal, and grow? What if you dared to believe that even in 7 days, your life could take a new turn, brighter, more centered on Allah? You have this unique opportunity in your hands. Every moment of this month is an opportunity. But this chance requires a response from you. Isn't it time to awaken your spiritual consciousness and respond to Allah's call? Are you ready to feel this change in your heart, this gentle awakening that comes from faith, this inner journey that brings you closer to the one who created you and who guides you every day? The door to heaven is wide open during Ramadan. Let the light of Allah penetrate every corner of your soul, and watch in 7 days how your life can be transformed by the power of this sacred month. The question remains, are you ready to accept this challenge? The secret lies in sincerity. Sincerity in every word, in every prayer, in every breath that we direct towards our Creator. Allah knows the depths of our hearts, where our most secret desires, our most hidden intentions reside. He is not deceived by appearances. When we act with purity and devotion, He responds to us with blessings we cannot even imagine. The transformation that you seek in your life, this radical change that you ardently desire, begins with one simple but profound thing: sincerity in your actions. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best act is that which is done with sincerity." Sahih Bukhari. It's not just about fasting or praying out of habit, but living each moment with pure intention. To submit to Allah with a pure heart, without ulterior motives, without calculation,
That's the secret. When you approach Allah with sincerity, every act becomes a divine offering. There is no big prayer or small gesture. Whatever is done with a sincere heart is counted in the sight of Allah.
Ramadan is the ideal time to purify this sincerity. This is the time when the walls of the world dissipate and one can be alone with Allah without distractions. Each prayer becomes more than a simple act of worship. It becomes a call to the divine. Every moment of fasting, every difficulty you overcome becomes an offering to Allah. It's a chance to purify not only your body, but also your heart and your mind. By entering this month with the intention of fully submitting to the will of Allah, you open invisible doors, spiritual paths that were previously unknown to you. Let's imagine for a moment that each supplication, each prostration in this sacred month is a step towards radical spiritual change. In 7 days, you can free yourself from past burdens, from all the emotional and spiritual burdens that prevent you from moving forward. It's as if every day of this month was a purification, a deep cleansing of the soul. The transformation you seek is not a mirage, it is very real. But it is based on one thing: the sincerity with which you present yourself before Allah. When this sincerity permeates your heart and your actions, you will be amazed at how much your mind can change, how much you can touch inner peace. This is not just an idea or wishful thinking. It is a spiritual reality that manifests itself when we sincerely seek to please Allah. And this process, this inner journey of transformation, is not a distant promise. He can start now. It can begin in you, in this precise moment when you decide to act with sincerity, to open your heart to Allah, to accept this purification of body and soul that Ramadan offers. The question then arises, are you ready to enter this journey with a sincere heart? Because the transformation begins as soon as you take this first step, this step taken with the pure intention of getting closer to Allah. And in 7 days, you can discover inner peace and clarity you never imagined. In this quest, remember that every action counts, every prayer, every supplication, every moment of solitude with Allah. Even the smallest gestures, when done with sincerity, can turn into infinite blessings. Allah does not only measure our actions by their magnitude, but by the purity of our intention. So ask yourself, what state is your heart in right now? Is he ready to fully submit to the will of Allah? Because it is only by acting with sincerity that you will discover the true power of Ramadan, this month which transforms, purifies, and elevates the soul. What would our life be without the invocation of Allah? What would our faith be without this constant connection with Him? Prayer, invocation, these moments when we turn to our Creator, are the invisible thread that binds us to Him. And during Ramadan, every prayer becomes much more than just an act of devotion. It becomes a gateway to the divine, a means of reaching unsuspected spiritual heights. When you kneel to perform Sujood, remember that you are closer to Allah than at any other time of the year. This position of total submission, where the forehead touches the earth, symbolizes our humility before Him who is Almighty. At this precise moment, you are in direct contact with your Creator. Imagine this closeness, this unalterable bond, this communion between you and Allah. Is this not an invitation to contemplation? An invitation to realize the immensity of this grace that you receive with each prayer, with each invocation. The Quran reminds us, and when he questions you, tell them, I am near. I answer the call of the supplicant when he calls on me. Quran 2:186. This verse is a divine promise. Allah assures us of His nearness. He is not far away. He is not turned away from us, but He is there, ready to answer our call. Every supplication we make, every word we speak, is heard by Him. And yet, sometimes, in our rush, we forget how precious this connection is. Ramadan offers us a unique opportunity to rediscover this divine closeness.
This is the moment when the veil between humanity and Allah's mercy is lifted, leaving room for an immediate response, a blessing that pours into our lives. This verse is also a call for patience and trust. Sometimes it seems to us that our invocations go unanswered, that our supplications are lost in silence. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, always answers, not always according to our timing, but according to what is best for us. Ramadan, this blessed month, teaches us this divine patience. By invoking Allah every day, every night, we have the opportunity to purify our hearts, deepen our faith, and remember that, in every trial, Allah is there. Invocation during Ramadan is not a simple act of request. It's an act of pure faith. It is not the number of words that counts, but the sincerity with which we say them. It is an opening of the heart, an opening of the soul to divine grace. Imagine each invocation as a seed planted in the fertile soil of Ramadan. If you approach this seed with faith, patience, and trust, it will bear fruit. This fruit could be the immediate answer to your prayer, but it could also manifest itself in a form that you had not imagined, a strengthening of your faith, an inner peace, a blessing in another sphere of your life. Every minute you spend invoking Allah during Ramadan is a seed that will bear fruit in your life, provided you let Allah act with His infinite wisdom. It may be a healing of the soul, a calming of the heart, or a material blessing. No matter what form it takes, every invocation is a promise from Allah, and this promise is unwavering. Take a moment to meditate on this. When you pray, you are in dialogue with the Creator of the universe. He knows your heart, your desires, your sorrows, your dreams. He knows what you need before you even say it. But every prayer is an opportunity to open yourself, to surrender to His will, and to receive His guidance. Ramadan is an opportunity to deepen this relationship with Allah, to devote time to this invocation without haste, without precipitation, just with pure sincerity. So with each prayer, with each invocation, let your heart be filled with gratitude and peace. Remember that this month is a divine gift, a time when Allah is especially close. Offer Him your heart in every sujood, in every supplication, because each invocation brought to Him during this month is an act of purification, an act of spiritual elevation. This Ramadan, make a pact with yourself. Each day that dawns offers you a new chance to get closer to Allah. This blessed month is not simply a time of deprivation. It is an invitation to a profound transformation, to a spiritual awakening that begins in the heart. The secret of Ramadan does not lie only in the performance of external acts, prayers, fasting, almsgiving, but in the sincerity with which you carry them out. When you stand before Allah, do not forget that it is above all your heart that speaks to Him. It is this purity, this intention to please Him, which makes the difference. If you make this month a time of pure dedication, your 7 days will not just be days of fasting, but days where your entire life will be transformed. You will open doors that you didn't even know existed. You will discover parts of yourself that you had ignored. And you will rise spiritually to unsuspected heights. As Allah promised in the Quran, and those who believe and do righteous deeds, we will certainly grant them a better lot. Quran 16:97. This divine promise is a light guiding your steps. It reminds you that every sincere effort you make never goes unnoticed. What you seem to give during this month is nothing compared to what you receive in return. Allah's love is unlimited, and He never delays in rewarding those who seek His nearness. So, are you ready to see your life change in 7 days? Ramadan is a precious opportunity, a spiritual portal open before you. This is a chance you can't pass up. If you choose to live this month with faith and dedication, you will see miracles happen, big or small, in every aspect of your existence. Make this Ramadan the starting point for a spiritual transformation that will resonate well beyond these 30 sacred days.
Make this decision now. Accept this spiritual challenge and share this message with those who need it. Together, let us move forward in the light of Allah. Together, let us see His blessing poured out on us. If you are ready to see your life transformed, write in the comments, "I place my trust in Allah." Take the first step towards this spiritual metamorphosis. And don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any of the spiritual blessings that Ramadan offers us. May the peace and light of Allah be with you now and always.